rushing is what causes most people to fail their driving test. Not lack of knowledge, not lack of ability. And then I guess you could ask yourself, well, why do people rush? Surely they know rushing is not a good idea. Absolutely. And there's a lot of reasons. And the most common one is people getting very nervous, particularly at the beginning of the test. It's something they want so much, they need it to go to work, they need it for everything. So of course you end up doing something silly. They end up being really focused on what the examiner's thinking rather than their own driving. Why are they tapping away? And they end up rushing at a junction rather than waiting for a safe gap. Sometimes people are worried about the cars behind them too much. They overthink, they think, cars behind me want to go faster, therefore I should go faster. And they start rushing everywhere. Sometimes people just worry about waiting too long, like there's a time limit on a junction. And when I say it, it sounds ridiculous, but in the moment, it's much harder. In this video, I'm going to show you a few different examples of places where we can control ourselves so we don't end up in those situations. And the first example is a junction. When you get to the end of the road and you're asked to turn either left or right. Now in this situation, I'm going to turn right for you. This is the tougher one. It's quite a busy road. Now I'm going to have to be patient. The examiner's asked me to turn right. He's turning this way. There is a gap that way. I'm not too sure about him. I'm going to wait. See that? I nearly went. Now this is quite tough because you have to sit here and you've got someone sitting next to you and your brain's telling you they want you to pull out. They don't. They really don't want you to pull out. They want you to wait for a safe gap. And as you can see, I am really having to wait here because this is a busy road. But that's okay. If you've got your test at a busy time or it's a busy road, you are going to have to wait. Now think how much better the examiner's going to feel when you pull out nice and safely over pulling out when there's not a gap and upsetting someone, or worse, ending up in a sticky situation. Another area people often have problems with is meeting traffic situations. This is when you've got parked cars on the side of the road and you have to try and judge how to get around them at what speed and how much space to leave. Now, the most common issue you've got is people getting too close to the parked cars and nearly losing a wind mirror. What you've got to think about is, where's the examiner sitting? The examiner's sitting there, so who's got a better view of those parked cars coming straight at them? The examiner. The best way to avoid this is to always make sure you've got a door's width from the parked car. Now don't get me wrong, that's not always possible, and if it's not, what do we do instead? Well, instead, we simply make sure we cut our speed. You can't really go too slow in those situations because it's about keeping everyone safe, you know? You don't want to make a hiccup that you can't fix. Okay, down here, we have got parked cars. They're on the other side of the road. Am I a door's width? Yes. So can I carry on doing a similar speed? Yes, I'm doing 27 miles per hour. There is no oncoming car, so there's not really any hazards for me to worry about. Now I'm having to come out from these parked cars here. Again, can I keep that door's width? Yes, no problem then. I'm coming to the junction. I'm focusing on a walking speed, nice and slow to the junction. There is a car there. He's going super slow. I could potentially pull out. In fact, he's waving at me, so I am going to pull out because if I sat there when he's waving at me, I'm not helping anyone. He wants me to go. Now, Crossroads is an easy place for people to overthink and rush. There is two rules. One, give way to oncoming cars, and two, always go through the green light, particularly if you're turning right. Now I'm looking ahead. I don't need to worry about the sides. Obviously listen out for ambulances and that, but I don't need to worry about the sides. All I need to do is go into the middle so I'm not blocking cars behind me, give way to the oncoming cars, and the second there's space, that's all I'm looking for always, the second there's space, I'm turning. And once again, of course, it is raining, pretty standard, hey ho. So the second these lights change, I am going to start creeping forward over the line, not too slow, because I don't want to stop these people behind me from getting where they've got to go. They've got to pick the kids up, or they're trying to get to work. But I'm not also going like a bat out of hell, so to speak. So lights are changing, so I'm heading towards the middle. I'm not in a big rush. He's turning this way, so he's blocking the car behind me. So I am just going to go for it, so to speak. And that's okay because I didn't slow anyone down. It was a good opportunity, good space. Now I've seen a traffic light in front of me. What do we want those lights to do? Now this is really important because this is what the examiner's thinking. They see the traffic light. Now, if I speed up into the traffic light, what am I telling the examiner? What am I telling everyone else? There's no danger, keep going. Whereas I want the lights to change. How do I encourage them to change? Get off the gas, slow down, gives everyone else information around you, communicates with everyone else. Pink Beetle, love the Pink Beetle. And lo and behold, the lights change without me having to fully stop. I don't think I fully stopped. We've got parked cars. We're staying a door's width from those parked cars. Hunky-dory. Aston Martin, that's my kind of car. That's what I want. I've hit nearly 40 and I've decided, you know what? I want to get a nice car. You know, I deserve a nice car. I'm not going to do it now. When am I? But my wife doesn't agree. Sad me. Okay, so we have a roundabout coming up. There's a roundabout sign, meaning there's a roundabout. Now, the best way to not make a mistake at a roundabout is don't approach them. Don't go to them too fast. Best way to do that is get yourself to a jogging speed. For me, that's second gear, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Okay, nice gentle approach. The slower you go to the roundabout in second gear, the more time you have to look and decide. So I'm nice and slow, I'm looking now, and it gives me loads of time to think, I can go, or no, I'm going to wait. And that's the only problem that people really have with roundabouts. They always run out of time. They either go too fast and last second they panic and then they slam the anchors on, or they pull out on someone. And that is always what happens. It's lack of time. Give yourself time, second gear, jogging speed, and you won't have a problem. Now we're on a dual carriageway here. We've got red lights ahead and the lanes are quite narrow. What is our new priority? Our new priority is just to stay in our lane. It's easy to get overwhelmed with lots of cars here because look, we've got 3 different lanes on this side, we've got 2 lanes on this side, and everything's really narrow. So what you do, take your time. You need to stay in between these lines and they're not very wide. So use your right side, which is away from the danger, hug that side to stay away from the cars. And don't go too fast. Go a speed that you find comfortable. Now this is particularly important when you get to places like roundabouts or turnings because the lanes get very narrow here. Now again here we've got oncoming cars here. It's no longer dual carriageway, so now this makes you want to go towards the other people in the other lane, and that's bad. You see how narrow this lane's got? I've got to use this line here to really hug, because if I go too fast here, I'm going to go into that lane. Now I'm at 10 miles an hour, I'm still staying in second gear. I'm focused on this curb here, the outside, not the car side. People end up focusing over there, that's bad. And then all we do is we take our time jogging speed, forget everyone else, focus on where we want to go. And in this situation, I'm going to head for Telford. Looking at the signs, Telford there, my lane splits into 3, taking my time, really taking my time to the curb. When you're by the curb, stay by the curb. Oh dear, I've gone through the lights and bugger, I'm in a yellow box. And then again, we're approaching a roundabout, we want to turn right. So I pop my signal on, I'm hugging this curb away from that car, that's the big priority. Jogging speed, the jogging speed means I can focus far more on positioning and everything else, looking and doing everything I need to do so I don't have a hiccup. Too fast is always the devil of driving. Well, I say always, normally. If something goes wrong, ask yourself, was it going too fast? Chances are, yes you were. And we're turning right at this roundabout, so I get to a jogging speed. I'm looking, I'm taking my time. He's gone wide. See how much time it gives you to think. Think about it this way. You approach a roundabout at 30 miles an hour. Say you've got 2 seconds to make a decision. Half your speed. Approach a roundabout at 15 miles per hour. Now you've got 4 seconds to think. Half your speed again. Approach a roundabout at 7 miles per hour, or 7.5, whatever you want to do. Now you've got 8 seconds to think. Do you see where I'm going with it? The slower you go, the more time you've got to make a proper decision. Now, I have been very focused in this video about slowing down, particularly at roundabouts and junctions. Walking speed, jogging speed, they are going to be your best friend. But that doesn't mean on every road, on your whole driving test, you need to go super slow. If it's a 30 mile per hour road and it's safe to do 30 miles per hour and everyone else is doing 30, you should also be doing 30. This video is very focused on the junctions, the roundabouts, the places you need to try and survive. They are not for making progress, they are for survival driving. And that's why we end up going crawling speed, as in walking or jogging. If this has helped and you want to boost your confidence a bit more, have a look at my test routes in the link below. There's a free test route on there. It's going to boost your confidence. And what you need for your driving test, you need confidence. I am Josh, a driving instructor. Love to you all. Let me know how you get on in the comments, and I'll see you all soon.